What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Content is Profit. Today's guest is absolutely amazing, yet the language is a little explicit. So this is just a warning that if you don't mind, you're going to enjoy it. But if you do mind explicit language, you might want to skip this one. All right, now let's get started.
Hey, I'm Luis.
And I'm Luis.
And you're listening to the Content is Profit podcast.
We spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
If you'd like to learn more about how to turn your content into profit, go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah.
Guys, you guys are going to be mind blown. Today's guest made 1 million in 23 days, right? A funnel that made 1 million in 23 days and 2.4 millions in 45 days. That is absolutely mind-blowing.
Simply amazing. Guys, but before we get started, please go ahead and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button and follow us on social media. You can reach us at BizBrosCo on Facebook and Instagram. We're happy to answer any questions that come through those DMs.
That's right. Feel free to slide in the DMs, guys. And if you find this episode impactful, if it is helpful for you, and if you know people that this episode might be impactful for, please don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. I think it's about time we get started.
Let's do it. So here's a piece of unsolicited advice for the listener. Ask for referrals. That is exactly how we got to meet today's guest. If you have been tuning into Content is Profit, you'll remember we had Austin Dixon, the Mr. Captain Underpants of Copywriting. After asking for a referral, Austin was super awesome and introduced us to today's guest, who, as you guys might expect, is awesome as well.
After hopping on a Zoom call, and I must confess, it was my brother. It wasn't me, the one on the call. We quickly discovered that we had a big player coming to our show. And I'm not talking just to come a club funnel builder type of player. I'm talking a hardcore Fortnite player as well. Now, if you want to test your skills, make sure you hit him up for a match.
Besides casually building funnels that generated 2.4 million in 45 days, he was in the military for 5.5 years. He traveled over 30 countries for 2 years. He works with SecretLab, which he mentioned being a big fan of, but most importantly, he has helped hundreds of entrepreneurs crush it with their online marketing.
Drum roll, please. Put your hands together for 2 Club Funnel Builder, Seasoned World Traveler, and your worst nightmare at Fortnite, Mr. Alex Taylor. Hey.
Alex, welcome to the show,
Welcome
my
to
man.
the show.
So much. That's hilarious. That's the best. That is, of course, the best intro I have had before. That's amazing.
Yes.
So,
All
mission
right.
accomplished.
Alex, I must confess, the more we do this, right, it's getting a little bit of a challenge to come up with these things because people have been tuning into the show more frequently and they see these things and now they expect big things. So thank you for that comment. We really appreciate you. We love that you loved it. So again, welcome to the show, man.
We are so excited to have you here.
So Alex,
I'm excited to jump on. It's good. We had a good chat just before as well, and obviously we caught up 2 weeks ago. So I was excited to come on here and speak a little bit more because we had to cut it short. And we were like, no, let's talk on the day.
Let's do it. Let's do it on the show.
We're gonna spill the beans right here. Hey,
all over the place.
We're not holding back.
Yes. All right, Alex. So for the audience, a little bit, we obviously share a little bit of your success, your quick story, right? But who is Alex, and where did you start, and what do you do now?
Sure. So how long do you want me to make this?
Oh man, go ahead, man. We talked about this being a conversation, so if we feel like it's going too long, we'll
right.
swoop in there with different questions. But yeah,
Well,
have fun, man.
We can make it long. We can make it short. So I grew up in Wales. We just covered that as well because you're like, where's the accent from, right? But I grew up in Wales in the UK. It is a country. It's part of 4 in the UK. Apparently, people don't know it anywhere outside of Europe, though. So
Duly noted.
I'm from Wales. I tell people I'm from England. Yeah. So I, as you mentioned, I joined the military when I was 16 years old for five and a half years. It was something that I always wanted to do. My brother joined first, and pretty much everything my brother done, he's a few years older than me, I followed in suit with him. It was just kind of how it was, you know, that kind of brotherly love, wanting to do what he wanted to do.
Just like
Apart
Fonzie
from I
and
always
me,
felt like I was
clearly.
always there was so much competition, exactly. And so I went to the military, and I went because of the opportunity that was pitched to travel. They were like, travel the world, you're going to see some amazing places. And the 5.5 years I spent there, it was, you know, I must have traveled to 2 countries. Granted, one was Cyprus, but outside of that, it wasn't that much, you know, and that's why I joined.
Yeah.
And in the military, I was glad that I joined, because I joined. I was 16. Where I grew up, it was not like it was a shithole, but it wasn't exactly an amazing place either, you know. So growing up, if I didn't join the military at such a young age, I wouldn't have grown up so quickly, you know, which would have, you know, I guess allowed me to do what I've done today, you know. So I was faithful. I was glad that I joined the military. But then I left because I wanted to actually pursue what I signed up for, which was to travel, right? And you mentioned a little bit about that. And I left the military, and I planned a trip with my partner at the time for around about 1.5 years. It was 30 countries all around Southeast Asia. It was amazing. All of the most, you know, typical things you can think of: Taj Mahal, Great Wall of China. We went to Everest Base Camp, you know, every kind of monumental thing we went to, and it was incredible, and I loved it, all while trying to freelance and grow what I've of course created today. But there's a funny story in between this, because when I left the military, it wasn't just like, boom, I know everything, I can start running a business. You know, I joined something called Juice Plus. People in the UK and people in America, they might be familiar with what it is. Okay. It's like a health supplement, but I joined like the multi-level marketing side, right? And that's when I started to realize that I'm good at talking, selling, stuff like that, you know, because it was all about pitching your friends. Yes. Granted, I had no friends afterwards, but I had customers, you know, and for me at the time, that was my first step into everything, because I was like, you know, it's funny and it's hilarious, but for me, I was like, wow, like that's the very first proof of concept that at the time, like you can make money online. It was crazy, you know, because I remember I told my brother, I was like, I don't believe it. It was $24. I got my very first paycheck. I was like, I don't believe it until it hits my bank account. And it hit my bank account with the conversion, terrible, whatever it might have been. And I was like, this is incredible. And people were like, you've wasted 2 months doing that to make 20 quid. And they were like, you're crazy. I'm like, no, it's proof of concept that like everyone thinks at the time, this was 5-6 years ago, that the internet was, you know, still at the stage where it's like, you know, I don't think you can create an actual income online. That's ludicrous, you know? Yeah. So I ended up getting into like a little bit of e-commerce after I left that Juice Plus stuff. Basically, I got into some e-commerce that flopped just as I went to go traveling, and I needed to make money. And I was like, "Fuck, this is not a good situation." It was. Listen to this. It's perfect timing. That day, I had a friend who messaged me and he said, "Hey, what's up? I know you can do funnels because I seen that you're doing for this e-com stuff you're doing, right?" Yeah. He was like, "Do you mind building one for me?" And I was like, "Get fucked," because I was so pissed. I was like, "I don't want to do anything right now. No." But he said, I'll pay you $500 to do it. Now, let's go back a bit. When I was in the military, this was literally 2-3 months before. Yeah. My pay in the military, if we convert it to US dollars, was probably around about a third of that, right? So 1.5K US, let's say. So this guy at the time was going to say, hey, I'm going to pay you $500. And I was like, that's a third of my wage. This is going to take me 3-4 hours if I sit there and do it. This is incredible. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do it. So I done it. He was super happy. Yeah. If I was to look at it today, I'd throw up. But it was super happy. And conveniently, the next day, he had a friend who referred me and said, I've got a bigger project, it's 1,000. And from that day, that was the day that I was like, you know, I think I've fell into something here that I somehow have an expertise that people are going to need, you know. And this was very early on. This is 5.5 years ago. Wow. Yeah. When ClickFunnels launched, you know, which I was with ClickFunnels when they very first launched, shit beta, you know, and throughout that whole of that journey, I was there on Upwork at the time, freelancing whilst I was traveling. So picture being on a shitty train, 20-hour train in India, spotty Wi-Fi client. Where's my funnel? I'm here freelancing, you know, and that was the vibe at the time. Yeah. It was just like, oh my God, if I can make $1,000 there and $200 there, I was like, this is incredible. This is like 4x my yearly income that I could potentially make, depending on how much I need to sleep, basically, you know. And that's where everything started from there. I'll forward the next part. because so I had a business partner at the time that helped start Funnel Empire. His name was Chris.
Okay.
He ended up leaving. The whole of our team left. Basically, everyone left when I restarted on my own, and we restarted with just one of our designers. And today now, you know, we have a team of 7, just about to hire someone else shortly in the next week or so. With, you know, 2 advertising guys, we have a designer, just about to hire a new designer, a project manager, you know, someone who's client relationships as well, and then of course me, strategy. So to this point, you know, we have 6, 7 people shortly in all CST time zones around the world. The area of the world I can go to right now is anywhere but CST, EST time zone. I'm like, I'll hit it. You know, 6 months, can you snowboard, scuba dive, or do anything cool? If so, there's a very good chance I could hit that for 6 months, you know? And that's how everyone operates now. And it's amazing. We have such good culture, really good vibe. I love everyone on the team. They're amazing. Everyone knows that as well. You know, trying to create opportunities, trying to create cool things that we can do as a team of that size, you know, because hopefully my intentions are that every single one of them important people will be heads of some department in the next, you know, year or so to come. So
we're definitely gonna share this video with them, so they have the proof that you said this. So they work very hard so they can do that.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
I actually only said that just in case they would potentially see it. So.
Very smart, strategic move from Alex. Dude,
that's why he's the strategy guy.
Exactly.
Right there.
Dude, Alex, I just want to say that you are an incredible storyteller, and I'm here just like sitting, just like gazed by like the energy that you have, and is such an amazing asset to have when we talk about content and building a team and leadership and entrepreneurship. So thank you again for sharing that story. Fonzie, I don't know if you have anything to add, because
honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I came to the interview not knowing what to expect. You know, I mean, of course, I heard that you were a super cool guy, but I was like, I don't know anything else, right? As you were telling your story, dude, I can't tell you how many times I felt identified with the things that you said, right? Like hitting those right moments, learning that one time that you were like, wow, I can leverage my time better, right? Like these opportunities are way better. That I'm not gonna lie, like I want my life to be somewhat as the life that you're having right now, like be able to travel, right? Be able to like visit these places. So I think that is amazing, and I think the way you connected with me is gonna be connecting with so many other people that are gonna listen to this episode.
That's awesome.
I really appreciate it. That's good. I love that.
I think we're meant to be really good friends. Just throwing that out there, man.
Just saying. It's also on video, so you know you can't back out. No, I'm saying. So, Alex, dude, I just like the image of you in this train to India with Spotty Service, just building things, right?
Yep.
I mean, that talks about passion, right? Like you mentioned, you know, you did your math, right? A lot of people that we talked to, especially we had a couple meetings like yesterday where a lot of people have their content, their platform, their stuff, and they don't know how to monetize it. One of the things that we talk about is like, hey, do you know your numbers? Do you know how much it's gonna take? You know, just like the time, the investment, and most people surprisingly say no, right? And maybe that's why that's the place in life that they are to learn. Right?
Sorry to interrupt that real quick. I think most people go off of aspirations, right? Like, and aspirations are great, you know, like everybody needs dreams and all that, but like the problem is dreams are abstract, right? Like they have no, like this is a number that you need to hear, right? Like you need those plans.
So my question to you, Alex, is like, you clearly were thinking, your head was working that way because you made the immediate relationship with your salary back home, and it's like, okay, if I work like 3 hours in this, like it could happen, and now you know, if I drink enough coffee, I can make this many hours work, and that's it, right? So do you always knew that, like, or how do you come up with that, right? Does that something that it always was inside of you, or you learn along the way, and how do you learn it?
I love that. So just here's a good point on this, because I was just thinking about it every time you said it, and I was trying to consider different ways, and I was like, no, there's only one answer. I feel like I've only just out loud for the first time I ever said this. For some reason I've always been good at putting myself in somewhat risky situations. Think about it. Military, full-time career, 5.5 years, cushy. Even if worse comes to worse, I spent every single penny, the army would wipe my ass and pay for my food and my housing, you know? Yeah. So I could live forever. And I took away all of that to potentially, you know, pack everything up at home and travel. And for me, it's like pillars. That's just like, boom, that's gone. And I feel like it unlocks every other every other risk that is on that level, you're like, no, it's I could potentially manage that, you know. But I was always at risk. So the funny thing is, if people know me, they know that I'm strategically all over the place, you know, and strategically meaning, thankfully, I have a team and processes that can do it all. But like in my head, it's crazy, of course, like most people, of course, right? It's just most people don't talk about it. So yeah, it was manic. Especially, I sent you a funny photo inside of the chat here, which was a photo of me in the train in India.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you got it. But yeah, even like that, everything has, for me, there's been two things. I feel like if you put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and I feel like I'm a weird one. Thankfully, I enjoy it a little bit, because if I can't do any type of physical challenge, then something like risky to me is just like, oh, you know, there's a potential of a good outcome, but what is the worst comes to worst? So I always am thinking about what's the worst comes to worst, you know. For example, Corona, right? Everything that happened with Corona, I was in Colombia, my partner was in Toronto, the borders were going to close, obviously, like they have, and if we didn't meet up, we weren't going to see each other for 4 months. So I left Colombia, came to Mexico, she flew to Mexico. And people are like, that's dangerous. The health economy here is fucked. Like, which is true. Anything bad happens here, we're fucked, you know. but what the risk, you know? Yeah. I'm fucking very happy right now, but because I came here, otherwise I would have gone to the UK or something.
Yeah,
you know?
for those listening, guys, sorry, Alex, to interrupt you here, but for those listening, go to the video and again, look at the background. I mean, Monday we interviewed Jeremy and he was next to a lake. Now we're interviewing Alex and he's like amazing weather, palm trees in the background, sun, you know, laying like. Yeah, we need to start traveling.
Yeah, we need to take the setup, the table outside at least.
Quick parenthesis. So yeah, continue. Go ahead.
I love it. So yeah, I think the two things were just like taking risk of some kind.
Yes.
But talking about like what to think about is like most of the time, if you think about the worst comes to worst solution, it's never really as bad as what people think it is, you know? Even like here, worst comes to worst situation, if I got locked here, you know, I'd have to pay a lot of money, maybe on like some type of flight that I could leave or something, you know? But worst comes to worst, no one died, like nothing's happened. Yeah. Like I've been here chilling. We have someone who can clean the place every week, you know, I'm here where I need to be so I can work with my team. Yeah. Because now I don't even like going into countries where I'm not on the same time zone as my team. You know?
Exactly.
But I've traveled all of them now, so I can focus on Colombia, Mexico, and everywhere else. You know.
I love it.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I absolutely love how you are like chasing the risk, to put it in a way, right? Like, because so many people is like they're afraid of that, and I love how you paint the picture, right? Like to level up, you feel like the risk kind of like unlocks each level. And we actually talked about this a few episodes ago. We read it in a book, that it was like when you see life, like gamify your life, right? When you see it as like you can level up, you're gonna be more kind of like more apt to take action and do certain things because you see the immediate reward and you're gonna just carry that momentum. But I love how you say, right? Like potential of good outcome. Risk is a potential of good outcome. Dude, like your perspective is absolutely amazing. Like so many people could be like, oh no, risk. What's the worst thing that's gonna happen, right? But the thing is, you give it a thought too. You say, okay, what's the worst thing that can happen? But you actually dig into it and you come up to the conclusion of, hey, it might not be as bad, so why not take the risk? A lot of people say, oh no, what if the worst happens, but they leave it right there? And worse for them just stays at worst, and they don't really analyze the situation, and therefore they just like freeze by fear, when then there's like action takers like you that you're like, like it's all good, let's go chase this opportunity.
For sure. I mean, even during COVID time, so I've hired 2 new people. This has been one of our best months, and hopefully this month and going into next month will be the month that I really scale this out and push out our team and our agency. And that's risky in itself. Everyone else right now is saving money, not spending money, you know, and we're trying to spend like a little bit more and just make sure everyone's on their phone right now. Now is the perfect time, right? For anybody who needs to say anything to anyone, there is enough ad platforms out there that you can find who you want to speak to, you know? So for us, we've dialed that in now. We've got our old ads guy back who actually left and then come back on a new agreement so we can help shit, you know? So we're super excited for that. So yeah, I'm super excited with everything that we're doing, you know? And we've not even spoke about, of course, the opportunity that there is to work with all of these different people, you know, who one person could connect you with people, you know. For example, there's one client who we have who is one step away from Grant Cardone, someone one step away from Scav Urbans, you know, and it's all of these different people, and it's crazy, you know, and that's connections. That's one simple conversation or one like on an Instagram post followed up with "I love this" and it's initiating a conversation. Has got me that SecretLab client I talked to you about. Has got me some amazing clients just whilst I've been procrastinating, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll try and find a lead, you know, and I'm like, I'll swipe up and try and find a client or whatever, you know. So it's I love the agency style model on the terms of being able to help so many people have that ability to connect with you guys. Of course, how? Through Austin. How did I meet Austin? You know, all back in a circle.
I find fascinating the way your mind works, you know, just by hear you speak like the way that you do. So, you know, it might be a trippy trip to go inside of your mind, but the way that how you express it is amazing and clearly gives the results that it gives. So, you know, you touch on conversations, and we have talked about this a lot of times here in the show, where we frame it as content conversations, right? And this can be a content conversation, right? Where, you know, we meet, and the theory of the 6 degrees of separation might not be just 6 degrees. It's literally like 2 degrees. Like you mentioned. Like, so...
Dude, I mean, like, sorry, I'm going to interrupt right here. Like, there's this guy, right? Like, I've been following... He used to be a day trader, and I've been following his content for a while. He's been awesome. I was like, dude, like, I love his style of content. I love what he teaches. I've been wanting to get into day trading. Dude, we met this guy at another event at Offermind, Steve Larson's event, and all of a sudden the other day he posted a picture like, oh, look who my client is. His client was the day trader guy that I've been trying to, like, you know, connect with for a while. So I was like, dude, like, you never know, like, these relationships, like, building relationships is so powerful. Like, you never know where they're gonna take you.
And like,
what was that guy's name?
Oh, his name is Cameron Foos. I don't know if you know who he is.
We've done work with him.
There we go. Okay, so
there you go.
I have a really nice funnel that if I was able to share screen, I could have showed you right now.
We'll definitely do a second show here at some point, because we need to do again another intro with the song that Alex likes, and we're gonna have to start sharing screens to share all this stuff. But yeah, again, forget 2 degrees of separation is 1 degree of separation. So new theory out there for those geeking out on conversations.
That's crazy. Wow, what a coincidence.
What a coincidence. There you go. So that's amazing.
I knew it as soon as you said it as well. For some reason, as soon as you said he used to be a day trader, I was like, I know he did. Like, I that's weird.
That's the guy. That's the guy. I love it. So Alex, like, through all this, right? Obviously, you know, you're a risk taker. You go ahead and you take action, which is very important, right? Have you found yourself in a really, 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 like, challenging situation where it's like, dude, maybe, like, this is it. Maybe I took it way too far. And then how do you get out of that? Or your mind just doesn't work that way?
Do you mean, like, when, like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore?
I don't want to do this anymore. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I should go back to...
And do you want to know the funny thing about this? Yeah, guess who's the guy who I call?
Austin.
He's the only person that I weirdly call, because I can call him, like, regardless of what I say when I have a combo with Austin, it doesn't matter. Like, the best intentions for each person is for that call, and I love it. He's a real brother to me. I love it, you know. But 100%. When I was in the UK, I experienced what I would say is for me, it was a huge wave of depression. And business was great just before I went to the UK. But it was when I got back to the UK, I was in an old house that I shared with my ex-girlfriend, but I went away to Colombia to kind of escape it all. And I came back to that house afterwards, and I had to pack up the whole house, sell it. You know, it was a nightmare, and I hated it. But I was hella depressed. And I remember calling Austin. I was like, I don't want to, like, I fucking hate this agency stuff. I hate working with, like, everything opposite of what I would say normally. Yeah. You know, and so 100%. And at the time I remember my girlfriend gave me the best advice. She said, if you want to take a day off, just take a day off. And it was days where I was going to work, checking with the team in the morning, and I couldn't bring myself to do any work whatsoever. And she would just say, just don't work. And I would be like, fuck it, I won't work. And yeah, I lost a few $1,000s, but after a few months of sitting at home, I shit you not, this is the worst motivational speech ever, but it's true. Like, instead of me getting up and grinding, what I felt best was to do was to sit here and think. because I was calling business people who I was saying, I need you to transform what I do right now into something else. I need to figure out a new hobby. What about if I'm going to go full time? And this was crazy. I was making like 30, 40K months, you know, at that time. And I was like, you know, it was absurd, but it was just that way of thinking. I was like, I was sick of it. And I just sat on it, and I sat on the sofa. Every day I'd get up and I'd go down on the sofa and I'd be upset and I wouldn't eat anything all day and I'd watch Netflix, and it was really bad. And I'd done it for like 2 months. But after it, I was fucking fine, and I'm absolutely great right now. So it's the weirdest like push, but if you take it from all of the funniness around it, what is it showing us? Like sometimes instead of pushing, sometimes we do have to come back and realize like, what is it we're doing? You know, come back into ourselves and figure out like, what is it I'm doing? Why am I doing this? You know, Simon Sinek, there's a book that he has, you know, Start With Why, if anybody's checked that out, really, really good book.
Yeah.
You know, and they were the type of things that I was reading at the time, but that's something I actually turned to. I've, books. I could have a whole conversation about books.
Oh, dude.
I'll let you guys jump in.
And we're
later.
gonna have to
go round 3.
Round 3, because like same here, man. Like we've been like massive, you know, consumers
dude,
lately.
I mean, what you're talking
I'll
about
show you
right
what I
now.
got right now.
Yeah, I get it. So guys, if you are listening, just go make sure you check out the feed, the video feed, because Alex is just going right now. I think he's gonna go get some books and share with everybody. He is absolutely amazing. He's back. He's back with the books.
He's back with the book. So, okay, start with the why. Perfect.
Of course.
Of course, classic.
This was a while ago. This is Great Sabri Subri. It's basically the exact formula of what we teach and do for clients, written in a book. It's really, really good.
Awesome.
And then most people.
Oh, yeah. Breakthrough advertising.
Oh, amazing. That's the book that they sell like for like $500 or something like that.
Dude, like whoever got the rights for that book, good move on their part. But yeah, dude, like what you were talking about right now, sit and think, right? Like so many people, especially right now, like we just live in this culture of, especially entrepreneur culture. It's like hustle, grind, like go 200% every single time, which yes, there are moments you need to go at speed. There's moments you need to operate fast and all that stuff. But everybody misses the part of sitting down, letting pretty much your soul catch up to your body. Dude, like it's crazy. And I think I came to that realization not too long ago. I was actually reading a book called The Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And it talked about like that, right? The book talked about it from a religious perspective. I'm not gonna lie, like, I mean, we were raised Catholic, but we're not, I wouldn't consider that we are like extremely religious, but it just makes you think, right? It's like, wow, like things that are so easy to do, yet we never do them, and they have an incredible amount of benefits for you. Like, let me sit down and actually think, who is Luis, right? Who's Fonzie? Like, what am I here for, and what type of people I want to serve? Like, only that question gave us clarity on who we want to help as a client.
I think we had like a really, probably not at the level that you had it, but we had a similar situation at the beginning of COVID, right? Like one of our biggest clients just like called us and he's like, guys, next month there's no paycheck coming your way. And that was probably 60% of our income at that point. There were 9 locations. It was like a massive client, right? And it was the wrong avatar too. It was we were having the conversations like, is that the right person that we really want to be dealing with? But we didn't really want to have that conversation to stop it because it meant so much on the back end, right? So, sorry, that happened, right? And literally, freak out mode. Like I could have gone and called 30 people, right? And but just like you said, slow down. We went out for a walk. Just like think, like, okay, just like breathe in, breathe out, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened? We started the show. Immediately after, we're like, what can we do now with that time? And we started this show that has brought us so many good relationships.
Yeah.
Now we're like,
I love it.
we have a ton of new friends. We're building business relationships also on the other side. So it has always a benefit, a hidden benefit, like you said, that now you were able to like be in a better place than you were before too. So thank you for sharing that lesson.
And I mean, talking here about like dream audience, right? Like clients. We actually interview Gavin Bell. I don't know if you know him. He's from Scotland. And he was saying, dude, like I want my clients to be someone that I can go drink a beer with, right?
Yeah.
And we were like, dude, absolutely. Like we don't want to be struggling. Like we had that experience that was absolutely horrible, right? Like what is that process for you? Like, how do you discover, like, this is the people that I want to work with, right? Like, was it some sort of like work within yourself as well to discover those people?
Yeah, so this is a good question, because if I took Funnel Empire and niched it down to something, I could make a hell of a lot more money, 100%. But it's boring as shit. I don't want to be doing stuff for chiropractors and stuff like that. I don't want to be doing that.
Yeah.
You know, the opportunity I want is to, you know, it's easy, in my opinion. Anybody who's growing an agency, freelancing, anything like that, it's easy to niche. It's hard to generalize, because you have to rewrite copy for every single fucking project. You are redesigning completely new for every single project, you know, which is for us, it's exciting because it's new stuff to potentially show other clients, examples of our work. It's, you know, potential. Like we had a client earlier today who I didn't think they were going to like our stuff, and they looked and they were like, this is incredible. And I was like, cool, that's cool, because we were at like 10% of the project so far, so I was like, happy days, you know. So
that's I feel like that's good, because like we've seen obviously your site, and we're gonna let the audience know where to find you, obviously, but you have pretty cool names there. I mean, Julius Dean, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, it's like, okay, how do you find that, right? How do you go after that? And it comes down to you, like, who do you enjoy working with, right? And it's like, is it somebody that's gonna allow me to be myself? Like, and it's like taking money out of the question, because at that point, right, it's just going for a personality. Like, I really want to have a beer with that.
Yeah, what
guy,
are
right?
those maybe, you know, intangible benefits?
Hey, yeah, get this. Before I came to Mexico, I called Julius and I said, "Where are you?" Because I knew he was the only crazy motherfucker that doesn't care about. He was like, he wouldn't care about COVID. I was like, "Where are you?" He was like, "Mexico." I was like, "How is it?" He was like, "People were pretending like nothing's going on." I was like, "Perfect. I'll see you tomorrow."
Oh my
so I
God.
called him because I wanted to. So he comes around every so often for dinner, and we'll go out and stuff. So he's here in Mexico, like 10 minutes away as well. So that was actually
awesome.
why I came here, funny enough. But yeah, that's a great example, because yeah, like I said, him and his partner come around, we'll have dinner and chill and whatnot.
Yeah.
Get 420 blades, you know, happy days.
Yeah.
Chill. So it's,
Does he tell you the secrets?
Yeah, does he tell you how the magic tricks work?
He's done magic a few times around us, and I was been like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's unbelievable.
It's crazy.
I feel like you do that. You do
it's
magic with funnels, right? So I think this is a perfect transition to that, because we've heard it from several people now, and it's like, oh my God, like this guy is the magician of the funnels, making it work and making it happen. So, like, what's your secret recipe? You know, we talked about different elements. We talked dream clients. We talked passion. We talked, you know, I really want to do this for something else, right? The teamwork. Like, what's that dream? What's that, like, that secret sauce, right? If you're allowed to say it.
Yeah, sure. So here's a quick one, and it's to do with the initial calls that we have, because when and I feel this is where it really allows me to come out and be who I am, because when I get on calls with these initial people, they fill out a short application, which is like stage one of our vetting process. You know, essentially, we can look at it, and if they don't provide a website, if it says they've never run ads, blah, 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 then probably not the best client. I can just email them straight away. No, thank you, you know?
Yeah.
If we get on a call with them, most of the time what people think that they want or need is quite off from what they could actually do. So it allows me, and it's funny because I sum it all up on a call by saying, you know, what is it that we need to do? Do we need scheduled calls? Do we need a purchase? Or do we need information submitted? And from that, I can work out the type of funnel they will use, the pricing, you know, the pricing, whatever they're pricing in will depend on what type of funnel, right? High ticket, potentially webinar, higher ticket, scheduled call. Low ticket, you can make a purchase, you know? Yeah. So instead of asking, you know, when people come to me and I don't get on the call and say, hey, what type of funnel do you need? I'm like, what is it that you need people to do? And they're like, I need a scheduled call. And I'm like, you don't need, if you're running Google ads, to send people to a video training page. They're on Google, they're typing in something that you provide, and then we now need to give them a homepage funnel, you know? So for me, I think it's not replacing that sales role, which I could do, which is, by the way, 80% of my day. I have 7 to 10 calls every single day, which I really enjoy them, because it's opportunity to meet these cool people, you know? But yeah, when I'm on these calls, I just need to figure out like what it is specifically that they need. And from there, I can do everything else. Yeah. You know, a lot of the times it will be nothing that they came to that call with. which we'll actually do because they don't know, hence why they're on that call, you know? So it feels like I'm allowed to take a little bit of control of their business, which is good for me because that makes it exciting, you know?
Yeah,
I absolutely love that answer.
yeah, and I want to. I mean, I don't know to what extent do you do like are involved in the actual like funnel build. We know for your story that you did it at first in the train in India, but like I want to let people know like he said, put it in a way, evolved, right? As a business owner. I think you evolved from a freelancer to a business owner.
100%. That was it. Exactly.
And now you're
That's
like
a perfect way to put it.
My responsibility is like I have this message. I know exactly who I want to bring into the company. So let me handle those conversations right now. And what was that transition for you?
Could I turn up tomorrow? Or could I not turn up tomorrow? And what would happen, you know? And if I didn't turn up tomorrow, I actually was late for it. It was really satisfying this because it's the first time it's ever happened. I got up late for the very first time ever, pretty much at 9:20. And on Friday we have our end of week call, which is late as fuck for me. I'm training by like 7, you know.
Yeah.
Late. I was like, what happened? I was up at 2, but regardless, I still would get up at 7. It doesn't matter. But I got up 9:20 and I opened my phone, went to our chat where everyone should have been at 9, and I go in there with no video because I'm balls naked, and I hear everyone going through the whole of the processes, you know, and I'm like, fucking, this is amazing, you know. I'm like, this is so you know, I think that pretty much sums everything up.
Yeah.
For me to be able to, you know, come or not come to the day and have my team know enough about what we've got going on that they could take control of it, you know? So that's perfect description from a freelancer to a business owner.
Yeah, I mean, it's
and
like,
if you have paid ads.
Yeah,
basically.
I relate that so much to our story because like we were freelancers for literally 3 years, and then it's like, okay, we cannot keep doing this anymore, right? So like, what advice would you give to that person, right, that might be stuck as a freelancer? They might not even know it, but they're gonna realize it eventually, right? Like, what is that advice that you would give them to be like, hey, you need to become a business owner?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would go to a few places. I would go to Indeed.com and I would go to onlinejobs.ph. You will find people there who are probably near desperate with work, overqualified, and happy to be your best friend if it's something that you could help take their career with them. You know, so even if you make low end money, let's say $1,500 a month, right? As a business, you know, and that's after expenses, let's say, you could go and hire someone for $500 a month who could help take away all of the you know, for example, in Funnel Empire now, we have multiple platforms, but it's just processes and documents, and everything is put together by procedures because it helps if I was to miss that day, you know, if they were like, fuck, what was Alex supposed to do here? They can go into a document and go, here's a video he recorded 7 months ago, you know? So I would go and look for someone to help, you know, and there's multiple other options here. And I actually done a good example is our ads guy, Derek, who's just come back in. Austin knows him pretty well because he's actually helping him with some stuff. He, like I said, he worked at Funnel Empire, and I was like, I need him back in here. So I called him. And it just so happened that he was actually thinking about it at the exact same time. So I you know, that was something that I wanted him to come in to this, have like a good commitment in it, so he can help, you know, scale the whole of the business, you know. So finding them right people who and that's the fucker. I've hired so many people. You have to be quick to hire and fire. People are always worried about like, oh, I don't want to hire someone just in case they're the wrong person. I don't give a fuck. I gave 3 people funnels this week to design, different people to trial, you know. Yes, I'll pay $500 time, but it doesn't matter because all I'm trying to do is find the best. I don't, you know, I appreciate people's time. And that's it. So if I hire someone, because this is the biggest tip I've ever learned about hiring, and it's obvious, but you only really become apparent to it until it happens, is you hire based on, of course, what you can see and what they say to you, right? What you can't hire on is personality. Personality is something that you can only figure out over a period of time. Basically, what I'm trying to say is if you're a dickhead and you don't get along with them, that you can't understand that until 6 months into working in a role, you know? So I have to hire them to give them that opportunity. But at the same time, if they're not the right person, I best as hell fire them before they end up leaving and gone somewhere better.
Exactly.
You know, that's my view on it. And the people who are around me, everyone in our business, they know that they could come to me and say, I got a good fucking idea we should do. And there's not a chance I won't start getting up and going, go on, tell me. You know, there's no in the world. So they're the type of people. Finding the right people is very difficult. But the only way to do it is to go through that process, you know? And without them, I would be a freelancer.
Exactly. Well, thank you for that advice.
That's a great tip.
I feel like there's a parallel, right? Like you have on one side the dream clients, right? The people that you really want to, you know, work for or with, right? And then the other side, the people are going to help you, you know, fulfill for that dream client, which are is your dream staff, right? And I can relate because, you know, in my previous life, I used to run a couple fitness studios, and it's the same thing. It's like I would like go through application. We're always hiring and twisting people. I'm like, hey, good fit, no fit. Okay, bye. Good fit, no fit. You know, and we got to be very clear on the expectations and see what happens and stuff like that. But yes, I had that same fear. And when we transition into business ownership here with Biz Bros, same thing. It's like, okay, are we ready to do this? Like, because it's our baby, right? Like we babied it, but we can always get to like a level 6. But then who's gonna take that level 6 to a level 10, right? So you can move to the other thing. So that is incredible advice, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic.
So
thank you, I appreciate it.
Everything has been like gold, you know. The editor is gonna drop, you know, gold dust all over here when we edit the video. But I want to transition a little bit, you know, with the funnels, right? And maybe people that are not too familiar with like what they are, right? Like we hear them a lot in different communities, right? So what is a funnel to you? And then, you know, what would you say makes a funnel successful?
Okay, cool. So the easiest thing for me to do here is to make it in comparison to what most 90% of people have, which is a website. Okay, and if we look at the purpose of, I guess, what a website is, collectively it is to hold information, display information, and give people options. Really, you know, there's not a single focus most of the time. It says, you know, navigation bar, search, schedule a call, submit some information, subscribe to our you know, read our blog. There's all of these things which are ultimately just a distraction, you know, not in the sense of if someone actively went to the website organically, but if you're running paid advertising to something, it better not hell be a website, you know, because that's the opportunity for confusion. So what we can do is take, for example, a website and take all of the best parts about it. For us, I know there's 8 real key components to a homepage funnel. So what you guys see at funnelempire.co, right? Our homepage funnel, 8 main components that we need in there, you know, and we can take anyone's website, and even if they don't have that, well, that's what an open conversation, just like me and you guys are on a call right now, is for, you know, so I can jump on and say, what is this? Who have you been working for? Where have you been featured? You know, or I haven't been featured anywhere. Have you worked with any good clients? Yeah, this client. Why is that not flat face on the page, you know? So it's all of this process that we would, you know, do to work with people. But yeah, I don't know what the actual point of what I was finishing off here, but
that is a very dramatic pause. I'm waiting for but I feel like that's really good.
Let me finish off. What was the whole point?
So it's like, what is a funnel, and then what makes it successful, right? Like what in your opinion?
So perfect, thank you. See, this is the whole thing that you're like, oh, I'd hate to be in your mind. Yeah, you fucking would. It's amazing.
Hey, dude, I love it. That was like the best open loop ever. I was like, what's next?
Yes.
So now that we've got that, right, now we have a good understanding and a recap of what a website is, we take all of that information, get the best of it, and once again, what was that question I asked earlier? What is it that we want people to do? And that person on the end of the line says, well, ultimately, I need to speak to people. So I go, okay, you need to schedule calls. So that's exactly what we do, right? We put together where they had 5 different call to actions. We'll take the one that they actually give a shit about and put it everywhere on the page, you know, so they cannot miss it. And that is a funnel, a more concentrated, smarter way of getting our leads to do exactly what we want.
Yeah. So pretty much 2 decisions: either do the action or get out of here.
Exactly. Or if you're smart as well, just as they go in, you can say, hey, we'll take this freebie, you know, and you can do it on a long-term nature.
Yeah.
I love it. I see a parallel here with obviously the funnel, right? Is a piece of multiple pieces of content put together to like help you make that decision of yes or no, right? And you talked about the wins. Like, what are those wins that have gotten you here? What are those awesome clients that you have? Like, where have you been featured? And earlier we were actually having an exact same conversation.
I was having the same exact thought.
So
right
I'll
now.
let you say it, but like I just want to make the relationship with a lot of the content, right? A lot of people say, okay, I'm gonna just put like content out there to drive, traffic or views or whatever, right? What is the job of that piece of content, right? So maybe it's like a little bit of a mini funnel, right? It's like, okay, here is what's the next step. This piece is gonna lead me here, which is my sales process, which is the funnel, which then you get that sale. So Fonzie, I'm gonna let you take it away because I think we're thinking the same way here.
Maybe not. We'll see.
We're brothers, so I feel like we
But it's like, dude, like you were talking about, like what are those things you can use on your page, right? Like put them right there on their face. Like what is this client you've been successful with? Put it right there, right? And dude, honestly, like this is an Austin phrase. I got it from him. He's like, marketing is a leverage game, dude. I remember the day he said that, I had this like PDF print of Todd Brown, a book from Todd Brown. And that same day, I got the actual physical book that he sent it to me for free, right? And I was like, dude, this is so awesome. I'm going to put that leverage. Marketing is a leverage game. Kind of like, I'm going to put it into a test. So I grabbed the PDF on the book. I did a whole story thanking Todd Brown. Like, obviously, like, I was being actually thankful.
Genuine, yeah.
And then at the end, I was like, whoa, since marketing is a leverage game, I'm going to take advantage of this moment to invite Mr. Todd Brown to the Content is Profit podcast. Dude, he answered. He's like, here, schedule a call with my assistant and let's book it, right? And we were having the same exact conversation with the guy that works with Cameron Foods, right? We're like, dude, you need to leverage that relationship. Like he just did a story tagging your work. Dude, like share that, like share it to people, right? And then use that to drive people to your funnel. But I think a lot of people miss the mark on like the leverage game. I don't know if they feel bad doing it, if they're like, oh, I don't know, honestly.
When you have those conversations with your clients, like, hey, let's like feature all of this, right? These are elements that are going to help you with conversions, with people like trusting you, right?
Yeah.
What is their reaction? Like, are people scared?
I think on the initial call, I make it very clear for them that they do not have to do much apart from tell me what I need to know, So, and I think because of how that initial call is dictated, they're very happy. Like I can literally show you a message inside of our Slack that I read a second ago that said, whatever you say, Alex, we're happy to follow all recommendations on what you want, no changes, so having that. Basically.
Yeah. I mean, I think that comes down to your dream customer.
100%.
Like, having someone that is going to have that trust in you and, believe in your work, that is like, take it. Like, you do your magic.
How have you developed those relationships with people that can potentially be your dream customers? How have you indoctrinated them into saying, hey, Alex, do what you need to do?
Okay, so this is my most favorite because I was on a live not long ago, but it was all around it. There was a whole training around specifically this, but I'll just give it like the whole short of it, right?
Yes.
If I think about, I'll give this few minute overview. So if I think about who our customers are, and the whole sequence, right? When they very first start and they try to find us, they're in two modes. They've either tried to build a funnel themselves and they fucking suck at it, or they have an agency who they've paid to do it and they also suck at it, So the first thing that they're doing is pissed off going, I need to go to Google to find a solution, right? And they type in Google and that's where 95% of our ads are. So conveniently, we show up there. And they type in, I need a sales funnel agency. And our headline says, hey, do you need a sales funnel agency? And they're like, hell yeah, I do. So they click on that straight away, right?
Yeah.
And this is what I was talking about, like the customer's mindset. So they clicked on it, pretend they're angry. That's the best way to do it. Pretend they're angry. Right. Do you need a sales funnel? Right, fine. Yes, I do. Like, fine. Yeah, you're right. Okay. And they get to the page. And now the very first thing that they need to know is, are they on the right page? So at the top, does it clearly display exactly who you are, what you do, and how you help people, right? So I need a sales funnel agency. Hey, we're a sales funnel agency. They get to the page and it says, hey, what's up? We help businesses generate leads and sales online with funnels and paid advertising. And they go, fantastic, I'm on the right page. But how do I know you guys are any good? And then if you go to our format, straight underneath it, here's who we've worked with. A quick little, oh, by the way, before you go further, here's our credit. Just a quick little dick slap, literally, just like boom, this is our credit.
Yeah.
And then the mindset of them is going, Fine. Remember, pretend they're pissed off. Fine. Well, what is it that you actually do? And then the next pillar after that is, here's what we do in detail. And it goes, we make amazing funnels, and it's a bit of description. We do brilliant advertising, description, and they go, fine, I know exactly what it is. Now, I mean, are you just a freelancer or do you have a team? Boom, underneath. Here's our team, And then they go, fantastic. I mean, this all sounds good at this point, but there's no real proof, right? Boom, credibility, testimonials, proof of results. Right, fuck it. There is nothing else you could tell me but would not convince me I need to do this right now. Where do I go? And every single button they will click on that page will take them to the core. And that is it. That is the whole sequence of how our customers work. And if they get to that last second and they don't schedule a call, then they better know that they'll be retargeted through Facebook, YouTube, until they potentially do, or they're the wrong people. So that's the whole of that sequence for us, compressed down into a very, very, very small amount of time. Because of course you can go layers on that.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting.
I just want to say, people listening,
repeat this part.
Go back.
Just
and
replay it.
This is $1,000 training or a $10,000 training on itself. Just 100% on this thing
in like a minute.
In like a minute. So go back, replay it. So thank you for sharing the secret sauce.
I love it.
I love the fact that how you put it on, like, get on your clients or your prospects mentality. Like, they're gonna be mad, right? Like, play devil's advocate. You know what is the words they're gonna be thinking at that moment? Boom, here's the answer. I absolutely love that.
And guess what a retargeting ad say? Hey, the first one will say, hey, what's up? You went to the website, you didn't get to schedule a call. Click below, schedule a call. Very simple, right?
Yeah.
The second one is like, hey, you're not sick and tired of your agency yet? Or the other one might be, hey, are you tired of wasting hours building all of these funnels yourself? So the pain points of the two people who we probably know they are, we'll hit them up with different retargeting videos,
Yeah.
So that's it. And that's the whole process in itself. And I think it's super interesting. And even all of that, of course, is very complicated. But the one thing I would say, especially if anybody listens to this now or in the future, take the one big takeaway I would say that you can implement instantly is go to your website and look at the very, 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 very top headline that you have there. And does it clearly display who I am, what we do, and how we can help people? And if the answer is no, which I fucking promise 80% of people the answer will be, which is not bad, because now you're changing it. And now you can go, who am I? And the best way to do this is freebie. Go to our website, go to funnelempire.co, look at it, what it is. It says we, and then we tell them what it is that we do, who we help as a final one, because we need to tell them, and how we do it. Business owners, funnels and paid advertising, generate leads and sell, and then they can look at it in a clear second, because I think about attention span, right? Is that for me? Is that for me? No, I don't need it. Yes, let me keep reading further.
Exactly.
So that's the one thing I tell people to say is go to your headline and tell me, if you read that, could you clearly understand what this business does? And most of the time the answer is no. Change it. You'll be very happy you did. And other people who are trying to understand your business will also be very happy they did,
Yeah, I love this because we usually ask our guests to leave an action point. And you just give it right there, guys. Go to your website and check your headline and make sure you follow Alex's advice.
I love it, dude. So my mind is just like capuche.
We're gonna have to go hang out in Mexico, bro. Just saying. Yeah. So you get a new Fortnite partner here. Oh, I'm not good at Fortnite. I play FIFA.
What about Call of Duty? Recently we got 3 of the actual Funnel Empire team on Call of Duty now. So if you're looking for some squad sweats, we can for sure be down for an application process. Go to funnelempire.co and I'll let you know.
Let's do it.
I'm down for that one. Yeah.
All right. Perfect. All right. So this is what we talked a little bit about the show. Obviously, is content is profit, right? We want to help like the audience, encourage them to show what the right path is, and we want to ask you, right? Like, and for you the question might be a little bit different, but obviously we make the connection. Content is profit, right?
Yep. I mean, that profit comes through that funnel, right?
Through that funnel, that is one of those elements, right? So where will you be? I guess we normally ask, like, if you do not publish, well, where will you be if you do not have that system right now with your funnels?
Exactly. Nothing would happen. And even if we keep it on the topic of content, right? For me as an agency, if you go to Instagram and type in Funnel Empire, you'll find our page. I'm sure you guys saw it. You'll find it in my bio anyway. We will see a dickload of content there. But my idea was not to generate leads from it, but if someone was to search Funnel Empire, could I be everywhere? for enough that they could go find they're a legit company. Let me find out more information, right? That's how I'm trying to think about everyone. Is like they're in a dickhead mood and they're like, fine, you proved your point. Where do I go next? You know, but that's exactly it. So we have everything on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. So it shows we're a real company. You know, I've got the most amazing tip for you in the world, actually, to find a wonderful share towards the end if you want. Really, every single business in the world can do it, and it's fantastic because of the whole COVID situation that's going on right now. So, but yeah, do you want to kind of move on to the next point? I'll save that for the end. That's a nice, juicy one.
Hey, we can put like this one in the special section. Well, dude, like this is something, I don't know if you caught this, but he said, you know, if they are like big dickheads and they want to like look everywhere, and they go to Instagram, they are gonna see you, right? Dude, we get so many people talking about being omnipresent and being omnipresent like every single time. You just did it in a different way because you're like, I'll just put a bunch of content there. The maintenance is not consistently, right? But you have a presence.
And the reason for us, which is a lot different for people like you guys, who obviously is respective of what industry you're in and whatnot. But for us, I ran that for a year, consistently posting 3 times a week on Instagram and everything. And for us, it was fantastic. We got engagement, we got followers, but it didn't generate us leads. I fired 2 people because they were tied to that role, which was just a waste of time. You know, it was cool, and I felt like it was added family, but it were a waste of money, and I didn't generate any leads. But it was cool because my intentions was never to generate leads. I just wanted to get it enough content there so it will be there, because even if, you know, I post stuff on my stories all the time. So, you know, and that's where people are actually probably going to be looking anyway. So, but content, even in the context of advertising, right? Video ads, 99% of the time will out-convert image ads. Maybe not on retargeting sometimes, but they will. So content, once again, I have to create that content.
Yeah, I just so you know, I completely 100% agree with you. We call it the safety net effect, right? Like, and we talked a lot about this with a lot of brick and mortars, right? They come in and we have that conversation. Hey, how many pieces do we need to create? How can I stay consistent, right? And the expectation for some reason, and I don't know like why this is the common like conversation. It's like, I should expect a ton of leads from the one video I posted organically. And it's like, no, we have to change the perspective, right? And you just summarize it magnificently, like where it's like, this is a safety net effect. Like people are gonna look for you, and then they're gonna go back, and then they're gonna research you, and then they're gonna see the content that's there, and then they're gonna bounce back to you.
Yeah, they're gonna try to push themselves out of the sale. But once they're doing that, they're going and seeing you in these different channels, whether you're active or not. You have your safety net, and they're gonna be like, okay, these guys are legit. Let me go check out their website now and hit that call button.
A very clear and simple example, right? It's like when you go, they tell you about a restaurant, right? And you're like, I have no idea what this restaurant is all about. I'm gonna go on Instagram and see the plates and see what they serve and see what they do. Right? And it doesn't matter, like I'm not submitting any form right there, but then that's helping me make the purchasing decision later to go to that place because I like what I saw. So I love that you brought up that point. And then like you said, with paid ads, which is paid content, then you can drive the traffic.
Well, here's a good...
Go ahead. Here's a good
one as well. Listen to this. So people will be sick probably some listen to this, but I spend $1,000 a month on Facebook retargeting and sometimes don't generate a single lead. But it's because I know the process that will happen most of the time will 95% of the time start on Google, and then they'll be on Facebook, and then they'll go back to Google, and they'll bounce around a while. So sometimes I might, like, we of course get some retargeting ads, but most of the time we get hardly any conversions from Facebook. Everything's from Google, you know, and we also run YouTube as well. But for Facebook, we get nothing. And that's a commitment that I'm spending like $1,000 a month when I speak to my ads guys and say, okay, so we spent $876. What we made on Facebook, and he's like, not a single lead. I'm like, perfect. But it's not perfect, but at the same time, I know. I mean, by having our brand out there and pushing stuff out there, it will over time grow. So
you're creating those points of contact.
Points of contact, I mean, it takes, you know, I don't know in your industry, but you know, 10 to 15 points of contact to at least have that conversation, right? So, I mean, and we heard it a couple of times. It's like, have a set budget to test, to get your message out, to figure things out, right? Do not expect those leads like right away. And I think it's a very realistic way to do it. And once your mind gets around that concept, it's gonna be so much easier. The road ahead is gonna be so much easier. You're gonna remove a ton of friction. So, dude, Alex, this has been an absolute pleasure, man. Like, thank you so much.
So much fun, man.
It's ton of amazing information, amazing stories. Guys, please, if you're listening right now, if you're watching the video, this is a guy that is very successful. Go back, listen to his story again, and implement what he's done. He's gave you literally step-by-step process to check your funnel. And if you need help and you're frustrated, go to him. Yep. Go to Alex, because he will make it rain for you.
That being said, Alex, where can people find you?
You can, of course, on Facebook. You can find me. The easy way, if you're on PC, facebook.com/A Kemp, Kilo Echo Mike Papa, and then one more P. Or you can try Alex Taylor, but you'll find about 50 million. Instagram, you'll find me Alex Taylor _IG, something like that. And of course, you'll find our Funnel Empire page, and www.funnelempire.co. You can find our site and everything there. So, and I'm sure you'll see me tagged in this anyway. So if you want to holler, you're more than welcome to shoot me a message.
Oh, yes, you guys know if you guys want to play Fortnite or Call of Duty, hit him up as well. He's taking applications for his squad.
Yeah.
I'll be sweating tonight.
Awesome. Well, Alex, we're going to say goodbye to our podcast people. Guys, if you want to go to the live and see the end of this episode, go ahead. Find us on Facebook, obviously. So with that being said, thank you so much. Go ahead. Don't forget to subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Find us on social media at BizBrosGo in Facebook and Instagram.
That's right, guys. And if you found this episode impactful and it's going to help you take your funnel building to the next level, please make sure you share it and leave us a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye.